This is the run I've been dreading to do, and probably the one you are most interested in. The defense mastery, speedrun, if you can call it that. But let's start with the most important thing for speedruns. Reliable damage. And if we check the skill tree of the defense mastery, there is not much reliable damage available. Our best option is the better skill, which has 4 seconds recharge and is a single target attack. We unlock it at level 2, and will focus solely on this until it is at the maximum. This also means that our damage is influenced by our equipped shield, so we will be switching shields a lot. We clear out the first cave for some money and a guaranteed oak shield. We will need a lot of experience because there is a thing which I would like to call the wall. I'll come to that later.
A human face. Good fortune finds me.
Saving the cornered man gets us to level 3, and the ruins before Sparta give us enough experience for level 4, a Hermes sandal and a butcher's bride, which is an amazing find because it boosts our physical damage by 28% when we can equip it. Killing Nessus on level 4 takes a long time, almost 2 minutes, so delaying him might have been the better play. With the Frostbite Shrine we get a bit more damage, but the better ability is not that strong yet, so our damage output is bad. At least we get a heavy cleaver of destruction, which will also boost our physical damage, and we can equip it right away. We level up to level 5 at the Mycenaean ruins, but we do not max out the better skill yet. 1 point goes into the thermometer, so we can unlock the shield smash with the next level up. In Tegea we buy Grease of Travel with 10% movement speed, slap the sandal on them, and go back to the cave of the Boar Snatcher. The tiny spiders at the cave entrance give a lot of experience, and we can use the reset character hotkey to get back to Tegea. On the way to the poisoned well we reach level 6 and unlock the shield smash skill. It is a passive skill which will trigger on 6% of all attacks, and adds damage from our shield to every affected attack. And yes, we really do clear out the spider cave and take this opportunity to switch to Arachnos gear and a reinforced buckler of endurance. We buy a scroll of the breaking wheel in Megara, our first of many, and with the level up in the Kirata forest, we max out the better and put 2 more points into the shield smash skill. Then I get a bit too greedy as I die in Old Eleusis. We get stunned by Graglos the Graveless and can't do much against the follow-up damage. Then we get to the Cyclops, whom I kill with the Blade Trap. It is an investment which has the potential to pay off, as it gives some experience and the chance of good drops. Unfortunately we don't get any drops, but we can at least equip the Butcher's Bride now, so we get plus 28% physical damage. Before we enter Ambrossos we enter a natural cave to get Chiron's bow back. Again, we need the experience for the wall, and getting 2 attribute points is not too bad either. This quest also doesn't take long to complete. The Frostbite Shrine helped with the enemies, and we reach level 8 as we go back to complete the quest. We get the shield smash to the maximum level and will now use it on average with every 6th attack. In Ambrossos we buy another scroll of the breaking wheel, which will be useful against Arachne. As I said, we need a lot of experience for the wall, and this is a quick way of getting experience. At the Master Weaponsmith we sell most of our collected items and buy a scroll of the breaking wheel, and also a scroll of the Storm Harpies. We then reach level 9 as we enter Delphi and put all the points into the thermometer. Then we kill the Boarman in the Parnassus and completely forget to go back to the Widow for now. At the lower war camp we then reach level 10 and put more points into the thermometer. The fight against the Gorgons is really boring. We single out Uriel, accidentally pull out Medusa as well, but can still take Uriel out with our shield attacks. Medusa goes down easily as well, and the same thing is also true for Steno. After that, we actually go ahead and kill the captured Limos. Another Blade Trap helps here and kills the monster in just a few seconds. Then we check on the lost Spartans and go back to Delphi to talk to the Widow.
I dreamt of my husband again.
We collect a bit more experience and reach level 11 just before Athens. A quick visit at the Mystic lets us take 4 points out of the Shield Smash and unlock the Rend Armor skill, which means that we now can target 3 enemies with our beta at once. Inside Athens Catacombs we find the Wall, Alistar. This freak takes so little damage from our shield attacks that I found no other way than to use the Storm Witches to kill him. And to use that scroll we have to be at level 11. With the Storm Witches, this fight is doable. Not fast, but doable. We have to be careful not to lose them to Alistar's minions, and we managed to do so, which means that we have beaten the wall that I've been talking about earlier. On our way to the Labyrinth, I help Xantippus the healer and receive a staff, which some spider had stolen from him. With the level up to level 12, we fortify the Shield Smash and also unlock the Disable skill, another passive that should slightly increase our damage output. The Minotaur Lord unfortunately does not go down to a single blade trap, because I thought it would be a fun idea to place it in the way of the ice trap projectiles, so we have to batter the bull to death before we can continue to the Telkin. The fight against the floating end boss of Act 1 is really straightforward. Bash its head in, kill the Limoses as they appear, and do that for about a minute. Alright, we have made it through the first act, and it took us only longer than the current Typhon world record. In Egypt we start with killing all of the tiny scorpions that we can find. I am searching for venom sacs, and I'll explain my reasoning later. With the level up to level 13 we can max out the Shield Smash and bring the Disable skill up to level 2. Against the Scarab in the library I use another scroll of the Storm Witches. They don't actually do much, but I think it was worth a try. The Scarab's poison shotgun takes them out almost instantly. And I thought that Pristine Plumage gave poison resistance. So we go back to bashing our enemy's head in with our shield. In total, this fight took 1.5 minutes. We get a new shield as a reward and continue with the Scroll of Invocation. The fight against the Ancient Scorpus is an easy one. It takes a fair amount of damage from our shield hits and goes down after roughly 20 seconds. We go to the Nile floodplain to kill the crocodiles that make the farmer's life difficult. We get some equipment and a good amount of money from selling the things we don't need. Then, after a fight which is not close at all, although this Promethean tells us otherwise, we get a Necklace of the Cat, which will raise our total speed by 12% once we reach level 18. I then unlock the Rally skill with the Inspiration modifier, which will increase our total speed by 10% whenever it is active. And also the Shield charge to get access to a dash skill. From the blacksmith in Memphis I buy a poisonous hunting bow, a tool which will come in handy later. I also buy 2 scrolls of the Storm Witches, which should help in some later fights. One of them being the fight against the Walking Stones. And once we've taunted them, I summon the Feathered Witches. They are really helpful during this fight and make it much easier to proceed to the Hand of Balance. Then I go for a small detour in Fayum, collect the hidden treasure, before we continue to Nehebkau, who this time is not a joke. He decides to attack the blade trap instead of just standing on top of it, taking it out really quickly and prolonging his eventual demise by about a minute. Then we have to face the Telkin and once again call the Storm Witches for help. The Telkin surprises me with its high intelligence, summons sunbeams and uses a burning cycle of fire to push the Harpies into the sunlight. Bye bye Harpies, thanks for nothing. This means that, once again, we have to fight the Telkin with our shield attacks. After a little more than 2 minutes, it finally dissipates into the void and drops the stone tablet. After leaving Thieves, we have our 2 passive shield abilities and the Beta skill maxed, the Beta modifier, the shield charge and the rally unlocked, and the inspiration on stage 3. We waste another scroll on the Sand Wraith Lord, the blade trap loses some of its magic during this run, and have to fight another long fight. The portal to Act 3 opens up after 1.5 minutes. At the Hanging Gardens I managed to find a 5th Venom Sac, which I used to complete the charm on the poisonous hunting bow I bought earlier. The bow should now deal 90 poison damage over 3 seconds. The Chimera in the Temple of Marduk is our next obstacle. Once we clear all other traps, we again use a scroll of the Breaking Wheel, which again manages to disappoint. It is another slow fight, which also takes more than 1.5 minutes. We then go for the quest, the Seeds of Destruction, because experience and money.
You killed them!
And also, once again, we save the little girl from the raptor. The blade trap finally manages to do its job this time. We can port back to the rebirth fountain on the Great Wall, which I collected before going back to the quest.
Bless you. You saved my daughter.
Completing the quest, Stalker in the Woods, then brings us up to level 17, and we also complete the quests A Lesson in Despair, A General in Repose, and the Hermit Mage, because I need all the help I can get, and you can complete them relatively quickly.
Why did you say forgive me? I fear I will.
Next up, the Demon Bull. A blade trap deals a bit of damage, but after a few seconds, we are on our own again. This fight is a tough one. We have to stay in close range to damage him, but this also makes us vulnerable to its dangerous attacks. His weird bull dance and the fire circle, definitely their official names by the way, can deal heaps of damage in a fraction of a second. This is a thing which happens twice during this fight. In total, we have spent 4 minutes on this bull and collected 2 deaths. We go back to Chang'an at level 18, so we can now use the Necklace of the Cat, which gives us 12% more total speed. Then we have to face the third and final Telkin. I summon 2 more Storm Witches, but they get taken down quickly by the Telkin summoned demons. This means it is time to dodge and bash, although for this fight I also used the poisonous bow I bought earlier. The poison damage over time made this fight a bit quicker, and is also the reason why I killed the Scorpions and Plague Birds earlier. For the fight against Typhon, I put all my useful relics and charms into the correlating slots, which gives me a tiny bonus in different places. I also go back to Chang'an to respec, because I don't plan to use any of my shield abilities against Typhon. I unlock the Colossus form and the defensive reaction, because I don't think anything else is all too useful. We start the fight against Typhon at 2 hours 11 minutes, with the plan to use damage over time from our ranged attacks to kill him. I have tried this fight using shield skills twice, both times it didn't work out at all. The damage output is too small, and Typhon has the potential to heal himself with every life leech. This is why I want to stay at a distance and stay as mobile as I can possibly be. I still have a blade trap, which I also use to deal a good amount of damage to the big titan. But this is now what we are left with. This is how the fight goes. It is a terrible approach, I know, but I failed with my 2 shield-based approaches. After more than 20 minutes, this speedrun, and I use that term very lightly, finally comes to an end. 2 hours, 32 minutes and 8 seconds I spent on this. You might be able to guess where I put the defense mastery. The equipment was nothing special, some bonuses on health, strength and dexterity. The Necklace of the Cat didn't help too much either, since we got it quite late. I know, I've wasted some time by shopping for a poisonous bow and completing the side quests, but again, I had failed 2 attempts already, both times at the Typhon fight. The defense mastery has no reliable damage, has to rely on close combat, which against Typhon is a disaster, and has no good area of effect skill. It also has no good way to kill Alastor without the Storm Witches. It is shit for speedruns. Is there potential for a better time? Of course there is. Will I try to get a better time with the defensive mastery? I do not think so. I am relieved that I got this run finished with a time which is terrible, but it doesn't disappoint me. Originally I thought I'd take about 3 hours with this, but here you have it, the final tier list. There is a chance I will update it once there is a reason for it. I'll say it once again, I think I've mentioned it a bit earlier, but there is an option to submit single mastery Typhon runs to speedrun.com. I have not submitted any runs yet, because I think it is pointless if my runs are the only ones on the leaderboard, but as soon as anyone uploads a run, I will put mine on the leaderboard too. Thanks for joining me on this journey through Titan Quest single mastery speedruns. If you've enjoyed it, consider joining my live streams on Twitch as well. My goal for now is to break the 1 hour mark for Titan speedruns. For that, we use a rune and warfare approach. Oh, fuck me. It is faster.